And we're live. Welcome back to the Better Than Bitcoin podcast, where I talk about the future of money. I'm your host, Jamie Damascus. This has been the first time making a podcast episode in 3 weeks because I was studying hard for my finals, and now my first year of college is done. So I'll be focusing on Bitcoin a lot more. This week has been an interesting week for Bitcoin, as always, so let's talk about it. For a little market recap, I'm bearish in the intermediate term and short term, but bullish in the long term, as always. In my last official market update on Twitter, Bitcoin experienced a 20% sell-off from the high of 10,075, and I was suggesting that the top might be in and that I was looking down. So let's dive deeper into the short-term analysis. So since the high of 10,075 right around here, Bitcoin dropped 20% to a low of 81.06 right here. Then it climbed back up to the high of the high 9900s, which is like here and here, did it twice. It was rejected from that level twice. So a total of 3 times it was rejected from that high 9900s to 10,000-ish range. Since the last retest of the high 9900s last Sunday, so right here, Bitcoin started to see a pattern of lower highs. I can draw it out right here. Started to see a pattern of lower highs with that line, while in the progress of seeing if it will make a new lower low as of writing this, and it has, like literally like 15 minutes before I started recording, it dumped. So it made a new lower low. So that's great. Confirms my analysis before I even record. Making a clear Elliott wave count of this high volatility chop in this basically, it's a basic channel. Pretty sure. If you can like, and it's not like a channel, it's like more like a range. So it's a range basically in between the 0% fib and the 23.6% retracement fib. Just high of 10,000, bounced off at 236, and it's just bouncing in between. So making a clear Elliott wave count of this little chop in this range is really hard, but I'll still try my best and see what is the possibilities and what can actually happen. So one possibility is that Bitcoin is in the middle of an A wave of a 3-wave ABC correction. So suggesting that we're in the middle of an A wave, this A wave right here, this blue one, middle of an ABC correction of ABC looking lower to around that 50% to 61.8 retracement line of the entire move back from 38.50, that sharp 40% just dump, all the way up to that 10K. So that entire retracement off that move, 50 to 61.8, is usually where I'm going to be looking as major buying zone. Yeah, this scenario is seen my ABC count. The only reason I have these ABCs in pink right here is that this pink scenario is where the A wave equals the C wave. Looking, this pink scenario still is confluent with the bigger ABC down, or it can be ABC right here and finish and be a shallow 2, just pump up to a wave 3. Just out of this world, pretty much. What I'm leaning towards is that this pink ABC is actually inside this blue A. So that would make this drop down a degree to micro. So it'd look something like that. But for scenario's sake, I'll keep it still at the same degree as the blue ABC, suggesting that that's that separate scenario, that it can be a shallow wave 2. So looking at the short term, combined with that shallow wave 2, A equals C, around the top of this little blue box that I drew, and the bottom of this blue box is suggesting that this ABC is within this A, and the C is extending in 5 waves down. So this little blue box right here that I had drawn right here is like a little like turnaround point, or a possible reversal point that I'm looking at. Since both scenarios are pretty much hard to map out beyond this box, don't take this B and C seriously as, oh, the B is going to be at 8,700 or C is going to be at 6,400. Don't take those levels so seriously, because literally guessed and placed them there. I can map them out better once the price moves around to this box area, and we can see how price action reacts from this little area to see how we can map out the B and the C. Yeah, so once price action plays out and confirms either of these scenarios, I will turn these counts into white color, which usually serves as my primary count, and usually the colors are as alternate counts. That's why it's easier for me to see. Until then, each color is a different scenario to see all possibilities. So as a short summary of these two scenarios that I just presented to you in these pink and blue counts, once price reaches the blue box, I will be ready to reevaluate where Bitcoin is in these two different accounts. The blue and red boxes are two possible reversal zones, with the red box having a higher probability for Bitcoin to bounce out of and to see new highs above 10,075 and beyond. If I have the wave 3 and 4 and 5 mapped out, assuming that we stop exactly at the 50% retracement line. Obviously, if we go deeper, the target's raised, and if we go shallower, the target's lower. So assuming that we go to around 62.35, I have the 3 around 26K down to 16K up to around 30K, and that's in the relative to intermediate time frame. Since this I mean, it's the same time frame as the 1 and the 2. So the 1 took around since mid-March to beginning of May. So that's around a month and a half, let's just say. And 3s are usually faster and quicker waves and stronger waves, wave 3s. So assuming that this is all going to be, Bitcoin's going to reverse out of this and make it a higher probability that we would be in a wave 3 after reaching this box and bounce out of that box, actually. Time frames can be hard to predict. It's just not recommended you predict them, but this is still qualifies in my intermediate term is what I'm saying. So since these are a few scenarios with a downside bias, I also want to address the chance that Bitcoin's local top right here may not be in at 10,075, with the possibility that Bitcoin is actually in a bigger wave 4 that didn't end right here. So this 4 can be moved over and we can see some upside right here, and this can be some chop, and the wave 4 might be placed around here or here depending on the count. But there is possibility that this wave 4 isn't done, and that because let's say the wave 4 gets moved somewhere over here, that means the wave 3 would be moved over here to this 10,075 spot, and the wave 5 will be moved at a higher target. So there is the possibility of that happening. So the reason that this is a possibility is that price isn't below the top of this wave 1, because wave 4s can't retrace beyond the top of wave 1s. That is a rule in Elliott wave theory. So this scenario technically still is viable unless we drop below the mid 7400s or 7400. Once we drop below that, it is invalidated. But as we go lower and lower, the probability of that scenario happening decreases and decreases. But the funny thing is, that same spot for that invalidation point of that scenario that we're still in wave 4 or bigger wave 4 ends at 7400, which is coincidentally still in the bottom of my little blue box that I'm going to be using as a potential reversal point and or a reevaluation point. So what might be interesting to see is Bitcoin might go into this box, maybe the middle, which technically won't invalidate the wave 4 theory and can go in a higher B, and that theory will still stand unless we still break below that. So we probably might either see that invalidation of that scenario happen in this box or later once we see that we're in a C, or even the possibility that we are in the wave 4 still. So yeah, So the fact that that invalidation point is in my blue box that I've drawn further confirms that my blue box that I've drawn will be a key point to watch and see what kind of price action happens at this level for a possible reversal. If you can't see what numbers the blue box is on, I will make some prices right here. So my blue box is around, damn it. So that little price area blue box is what I'm looking at for 73, mid 7364 to 7872, round up, round down, whatever. So high 7800s to high 7300. So it's about a $500 range right there is where I'm going to be looking soon. Get those out of the way. Yeah, another thing I wanted to point out, the reason for my downside bias, why I haven't really mapped out fully a fully bullish upside bias, is that the strength in the MACD, as you can see right here, has been seeing lower highs ever since we saw the top of this potential wave 3 back in April 30th, end of April pretty much, with a price being in a range of from 10,075 or 10,079 all the way down to 8,100 pretty much. So that $2,000 range almost in between that, yet MACD has just been decreasing and decreasing and lower highs, and it's turning down in the hourly to looking for possibly lower lows. You might see lower lows in Bitcoin and price, so that might turn out the way I want it to. I do have buy orders in this red box right now, averaging around, I have two different buy orders, averaging around a entry price of 6K, personally for myself. But if price action starts to go there sharp and fast, I might delete the buy orders looking for even lower, because technically wave 2s can retrace all the way down to 78.6 and even less likely 88.6. But I can put the box right here, but the higher probability is usually 50% to 61.8% of the wave percent retracement of the wave 1. So this wave 2 bias is technically valid up to 78.6, but higher probability that it stays within that red box. So it's not invalidated if it goes there. Gonna scream, "Ha, Jamie, you're wrong." I'd be like, "Nope, not exactly." So yeah, that's a short little update of the micro account and the smaller account. I already went over the larger count in previous episodes, which hasn't really changed. Yeah, so that's all for episode 26 of the Better Than Bitcoin podcast. Like the video and subscribe if you liked my weekly in-depth analysis, because this happens every week. If for those of you new listening or watching, like the video and subscribe. Yeah, I just said that. Ignore that. Follow me on Twitter @JanDabaskis for small Bitcoin updates during the week, and peace out.